I always believed the physics lab smelled like possibility ozone from the Van de Graaff, chalk dust, and the faint citrus of Asher's hair gel whenever he leaned in to check my calculations. Tonight, that scent feels charged in a different way. The campus has dissolved into a hush, midnight cicadas outside, fluorescent hum above, and our whispered arguments over circuits echoing off empty benches. The end-of-semester marathon was supposed to be routine, just two study buddies racing the syllabus, but the air between us has tilted. Like a teetering stack of lab manuals waiting to tumble, Asher is scribbling Kirchhoff loops in his. Meticulous block letters, lower lip caught between his teeth, dark brows knit in concentration. I pretend to focus on my notebook, yet I'm cataloging the small things that have begun to unnerve me. The way his sweatshirt sleeve brushes my forearm when he shifts. How he hums under his breath when the math clicks. The hoarse laugh he saves. For jokes only I seem to make. It's silly, I'm 21, top of my cohort, comfortable with logic, yet my pulse spikes whenever his knee knocks mine beneath the table. He finishes the equation, snaps his pen shut, then pats his pockets. "Hey, Nora got a spare?" His voice is low, almost conspiratorial in the cavernous room. I slide my favorite pen across the desk, the matte black one I never lend, and watch his fingers linger on mine half a second too long. Static leaps skin to skin. Maybe it's the lab equipment, maybe it's just us. "Don't lose it," I manage, aiming for casual. He smirks like he knows exactly how possessive I am of that pen, of everything that feels like me. Outside, thunder mumbles on the horizon, promising rain. The janitor's keys jangle in the corridor, a reminder we're the last ones here. Asher twirls the pen once, then slips it behind his ear instead of writing. "You know," he says, eyes bright with some unspoken plan, "I could trade you something better for it after we're done." My heartbeat flips, unexpected offer, unreadable. Smile, and I realize tonight may rewrite more than electrical formulas. We met our first semester in Intro to Electromagnetics, when the professor asked a trick question about magnetic flux and Asher blurted the answer while I was still untangling my headphones. That afternoon he found me in the library stacks, proud, grin blazing, and asked if I wanted to compare field notes. We were opposites at first glance, his notebook a riot of neon post-its and doodles, mine a regiment of bullet-pointed summaries, yet our brains snapped together like opposite poles. Since then we've discovered a dozen excuses to orbit each other. There was the coffee taxonomy chart we built during finals week sophomore year, linking caffeine strength to exam terror, which still hangs in the engineering lounge. Or the time he convinced me to sneak into the planetarium after hours, because he claimed Maxwell's equations only truly make sense beneath simulated starlight. We argue about everything from AC/DC riffs to vector calculus, but every disagreement ends in that easy laughter the rest of the cohort envies. Tonight, as fluorescents flicker and thunder rolls closer, the weight of 3 years' worth of almost moments presses in. While I review circuit diagrams, Asher taps my calculator with his pen, my pen each click timed to the rain pelting the windows. "Remember the freshman year fire drill? You tried to rescue your laptop before leaving the dorm," he whispers. "And you tried to rescue your sneakers?" I shoot back. "It was pouring then too." "Priorities." His grin is crooked, affectionate. He flicks my braid like a pendulum and I swat him, but our wrists brush and neither of us pulls away immediately. Heat pools in my cheeks, a crack of lightning cuts the sky, killing the overheads for a beat. The monitors blink off, the AC gutters to silence. Emergency lights kick in dim, amber, intimate. Asher raises a brow. "Power outage. Guess we're stuck until the backup gen spins up." Just then, the janitor passes the doorway and I catch the gleam of metal as he locks the outer doors, a safety protocol after hours. We're officially sealed inside the physics building until security does its midnight round. I try to sound unfazed. "So, impromptu sleepover?" He leans back, chair creaking. "Could be worse. We've got oscilloscopes, stale vending machine, popcorn, and..." He pats his backpack. "One emergency hoodie big enough for two." It's a teasing offer, but the idea of sharing cloth and warmth sends a flutter straight through me. I glance at the darkened windows, then at him. His eyes gleam in the low light, softer than the fluorescent glare ever allowed. My pulse thrums. He rummages through his bag, producing the hoodie. When he stands to shake it out, the sleeve brushes my cheek, and I catch his scent: grapefruit shampoo and graphite. Suddenly, I'm aware of every inch of space between us, every brush of fabric. He drapes the hoodie across the back of my chair instead of handing it over, and I wonder if he noticed my quick inhale. "Tell you what," he says, settling beside me again, voice lower than before. "Finish this last set of problems and I'll trade you a secret for that pen?" I arch a brow. Asher Cowrie bargaining with intellectual property must be serious. Deadly. He winks, but there's something unsteady in the gesture, like he's testing ground that might give way. His fingers drum the table, then still. For a long moment we just listen to the rain drumming harder than his heartbeat. Or maybe that's mine. I force myself back to the notebook, but the page swims. Out of the corner of my eye, I watch him tilt his head, studying me instead of the equations. When our gazes lock, the lingering eye contact fractures my calm. A tremor runs through my hand and my pencil rolls off the table. He catches it midair, his palm enveloping mine as he returns it. The touch is brief but electric. Neither of us speaks, yet the room feels louder with things unsaid. The storm, the lock-in, the shared hoodie waiting, all tiny complications conspiring to shrink the gap we've pretended doesn't exist. And somewhere beneath the hum of distant generators and my racing thoughts, I sense tonight is poised on a threshold. One gentle push and friendship might tip into something altogether different. The backup generator stalls an hour later with a shudder that rattles the ceiling tiles. Lights blink out for good, leaving only the faint blue glow of exit signs. A hush settles, the kind that makes you aware of your own breathing. I clear my throat, but the sound feels too loud. "Flashlights?" I suggest. Asher's phone beam slices the dark, illuminating dust motes and the anxious twitch of his smile. "Battery's at 8%. We'd better migrate someplace warmer. Those metal benches are fridge cold." He claims to know a staff lounge on the third floor with a sofa about as comfy as municipal funding allows. I follow his light through shadowy hallways, past rows of silent apparatus that loom like prehistoric skeletons. The storm hammers the windows, wind shrieking in the ductwork. Halfway up the stairwell, thunder booms loud enough to shake the rails, and I instinctively grab his sleeve. He covers my hand without teasing, fingers curling in a quiet promise before he releases me. I miss the contact the second it's gone. The lounge door winds open. Inside, pale city glow filters through Venetian blinds, striping a tiny room, vending machines, a scarred coffee table, and the fabled couch-narrow, vinyl, faintly smelling of burnt espresso. The temp has dropped. My fingertips sting. Asher tosses me the hoodie. "Take the warm side," he says, but there is only one side. We sit shoulder to shoulder, thighs touching through jeans. Vinyl sighs, accepting our combined weight. For a while we pretend to study. He holds my pen between his teeth, flipping through his tattered notebook, while I try to concentrate on problem sets lit by his dwindling phone screen. But every time he shifts, heat flares where our hips meet. My thoughts dissolve into static. If I lean closer, will he pull away? If I say what's thumping in my chest, will I break the best thing I've ever had? Lightning streaks, the blind stutter shadows across his face. He rubs his arms. Without thinking, I tug the hoodie's loose sleeve until it covers his wrist. Our eyes meet. Something unspoken arcs between us, hot, bright, terrifying. He swallows as if bracing for high voltage. "Cold?" I question, voice barely above. "The rain, only my handwriting." He shows me his notes, the letters jittery. "Could use a stabilizer." The joke lands softer than usual, but he nudges my knee, giving me permission to laugh. I do, and the tension eases until he shifts. Again, this time draping half the hoodie across my shoulders too. Shared heat blooms in the small darkness. I can feel every breath he takes. The storm intensifies. Wind squeezes its way through the window frame, sending an icy draft across us. Reflexively, I huddle closer. He doesn't move away. Instead, his palm wraps around my forearm, warm and steady. He traces tiny circles as if soothing a lap skid charge on my skin. I forget equations, battery levels, everything except the press of his fingers. I should stay awake, he murmurs. Security. We'll do their round around too. It's nearly 1, I whisper, checking my watch. Its glow paints his profile silver. I've never been this close outside a quick hug at midterms, and the details feel dangerous. The freckle on his jaw, the flutter of pulse at his throat, the way his lashes fan when he blinks down at me. A sudden clatter bursts from the hallway metal. Trash can topple by the draft. Instinctively, we jerk toward each other. His arm goes around my back as though hooking me into safety. My palm lands flat on his chest. Heat radiates through cotton. I can feel his heartbeat fast, irregular, mirroring my own. Neither of us pulls away. When the noise fades, our faces remain inches apart. His breath smells faintly of spearmint and nerves. False alarm, he mutters, but his arm stays where it is. The lounge seems to shrink around us, the vending machine. A distant ocean dot. Say something, Nora. Stop just staring at his mouth. You know, I manage. This qualifies as forced proximity in narrative theory. Classic setup. He huffs a laugh that fans across my cheek. Oh, we're in a trope, are we? Locked in during a storm. 1 couch, 1 hoodie, I list, trying for levity. Practically writes itself. Let's hope the endings. Good, his tone dips teasing, but the softness underneath makes my pulse trip. His thumb strokes an absent pattern on my side. Every nerve sings I should crack another joke, shift away, restore the easy camaraderie. Instead I hear myself ask, what secret were you planning to trade for the pen? His hand stills. His gaze drops to my lips, then back to my eyes. Maybe I was going to tell you I'm tired of pretending we're only study partners. The confession is a whisper, as though testing if words can survive the air between us. He blinks, suddenly unsure. Too much? Electricity races through me, equal parts joy and fear. I open my mouth, but no sound emerges. My silence leaves him exposed. He starts to pull his arm back. I catch his wrist. Not too much, I say, the tremor in my voice undeniable. Just unexpected. The word hangs there, inadequate to cover the years of half-glances and almosts. He bites his lip, studying me. Nora, if this changes everything, a drip lands on my temple. The ceiling sprung a leak. We scramble up, laughing in surprise, as water patters onto the couch. We end up pressed together beside the vending machine, the only dry corner. My back bumps the cool metal. His hands brace on either side of my shoulders, caging me in a cocoon of quiet thunder and neon glow. Storm's really going for the dramatics. He says, rainwater beating in his curls. The tight space leaves no room to pretend we're not trembling. I rest my forehead against his chest, closing my eyes. Maybe it's pushing us where we're supposed to be, his breath catches. I feel it. He tilts my chin, searching my face as though waiting for permission. The truth drums inside my ribs. I want to close the distance, but fear still clings like wet fabric fear of losing the laughter. The orbit, the easy gravity we've known, Asher's voice is barely audible over the rain. If we step over this line, I don't know how to step back. I meet his gaze, my answer a raw whisper, maybe forward is the only direction left. And in that suspended second heartbeat, thunderbeat, breath-hour impasse, shivers on the edge of more. Lightning flashes again, straubing the vending machine corner a stark white before plunging us back into the soft red glow of its cola logo. Outside, rain hammers the window panes like someone desperate to be let in. Inside, my pulse does the same, against my ribs. Asher's forearms are still braced on either side of my shoulders, caging me without pressure. Yet every inch of me feels acutely aware of the choice hovering between us. I can smell the storm on him, petrichor and coppery. Adrenaline mingling with the faint scent of grapefruit shampoo. It would take the smallest tilt of my head to touch his cheek, but that tilt feels as perilous as stepping off a cliff. He breaks eye contact first, glancing down where my fingers twist the hem of his hoodie. You're shivering, he murmurs. Side effect of the couch turning into a waterfall, I joke, but the quaver in my voice betrays me. My sense of humor is a paper shield. The drumming rain, the metallic chill of the vending machine at my back, and Asher's nervous keep punching holes through it. His hand rises, hesitates midair, then settles lightly on my jaw, thumb brushing. The damp hair clinging there. The contact is feather soft, but it ricochets through me like a surge through a capacitor. I draw a shaky breath, and his eyes hitch onto the movement of my lips micro-tracking, like he's studying experimental data he doesn't quite trust yet. Earlier, he says, voice husky, you asked about my secret, what I'd trade. For your pen, I nod, swallowing hard. The hoodie fabric between my fingers has gone damp with nervous sweat. You kinda previewed it already. Half of it, he admits. His thumb stops moving. The rest of his hand trembles almost, imperceptibly where it cups my cheek. The real secret is I've wanted to tell you for months. Maybe longer. He offers a lopsided grin that doesn't reach his eyes. But every time I rehearsed, it sounded like bad fanfic. Dear Nora, magnetic fields aren't the only things drawing me in. Despite everything, a delighted laugh escapes me, short, incredulous, tender. You dork? Guilty. The grin deepens for a heartbeat before uncertainty claims it again. So when the pen opportunity came up, I thought, trade her something tangible. Only then we got locked in, and the storm started behaving like stage lighting. And now I can't tell if the universe is giving me a perfect cue or setting me up to look ridiculous. He's talking too fast, eyes darting between mine as though searching for an exit sign. I lift my own hand steady, somehow, and cover the one still cupping my face. Asher, breathe. He obeys, exhaling slow, and the warmth of that breath goes across my mouth. I didn't realize how close we were until now, when I can see every gold fleck in his irises. For a moment, words elude me. I think of all the times I watched him laugh with friends and felt a tug that was more than platonic gravity. All the nights we parted outside my dorm and I secretly wished he'd linger. Lightning pops again, white hot, and the afterimage makes him look haloed. Maybe that's what pushes me over the line. If you tell me, I say, voice barely a whisper, I promise not to laugh. And I promise not to make you take it back tomorrow. The corners of his mouth twitch gratitude, relief, fear. Okay. He draws one more breath, then plunges. Nora, I am terrified, honestly, but I think I'm in love with you. I can't focus when you chew your pen cap. Your diagrams make me want to design entire satellites just so you'll label them. Hearing you laugh at my stupid jokes feels like solving every proof in the textbook. And I know that sounds true, I interrupt, my throat tight. Exactly the way I feel. His eyes flare like a circuit sparked to life. Wait, are you saying yes? The word tumbles out raw and certain. Yes, Asher, you're not the only one. Who's been rehearsing confessions in the shower? The tension that held him rigid seems to snap. He sags a fraction, a relieved smile flooding his face. But almost immediately another emotion flickers, caution, maybe even disbelief. You're sure? Because if we cross this line, the physics, partner dynamic gets non-linear. I laugh again, giddy with adrenaline. Let it get chaotic. We're good at finding order in chaos, remember? My voice softens. I don't want a reset. I want forward. He brushes a damp strand from my forehead. Forward might include a point of no return. Fine by me, as long as the graph has both our names on it. The words sound fearless, but inside I'm shaking apart, ecstatic, terrified, wanting. My heart is a drum against my ribs, a signal. Begging to be answered. He searches my face one more second like verifying lab results, then something resolves in his gaze. Slowly, giving me every chance to retreat, he leans in. I rise on tiptoe to meet him halfway. Our noses brush first, an electric tap, then his lips hover over mine, warm breath mingling. The anticipation is exquisite, a stretch of silence tighter than any guitar string, I whisper. This counts as a significant data point. He huffs a startled laugh, and in that soft quiver our mouths finally meet. The first kiss is tentative, featherlight, a question mark. The second, moments later, is the answer, surer, deeper, a pulse of heat that floods my veins. I clutch the collar of his hoodie. His free hand slides to my waist, anchoring me. The vending machines hum and the rain's roar recede until there's only the slip of lips, the small involuntary gasp I can't hide. the gentle press of his fingertips, drawing circles through soaked cotton. When we part, I keep my forehead against his, eyes closed, trying to memorize every sensation. The soft rasp of stubble starting to bloom on his jaw, the way his chest rises against mine, the subtle taste of spearmint and nervous laughter on his tongue. My body feels alight, as though the storm outside has wired itself through me. Wow. He breathes. I manage a shaky, triumphant smile. Empirical evidence supports your hypothesis. He chuckles, the sound edged with disbelief and wonder. We're that couple now, aren't we? The obnoxiously nerdy one? Statistically probable, I concede, and he kisses the grin off my mouth again gentler, but lingering like he's discovering the pleasure of unrushed certainty. Somewhere in the corridor, a door creaks. We break apart just enough to listen. His arm still looped around me. Distant footsteps, security, maybe. Reality tiptoes back, reminding us the world exists beyond this cocoon of flickering lights and soda syrup. I expect embarrassment, but when he looks at me, I recognize the same fierce tenderness in his eyes that I feel swelling inside my own chest. Whatever happens when those doors unlock. He says softly, "Can we keep choosing forward?" I curl my fingers into the fabric at his nape, drawing him closer. Every day, I promise. We'll recalibrate as we go. He lets out a breathy laugh. God, I love it when you talk calibration. And just like that, our familiar banter slides into this new, thrilling, context-old language, new meaning. I rest my head against his shoulder while the storm thunders its applause. Outside, dawn is still hours away, but here, pressed against a humming vending machine in a half-lit lounge, the future feels startlingly bright. We camp in the narrow patch of dry floor between the vending machine and the wall, knees drawn up, shoulders touching, my head tucked under his chin. Somehow the hum of cooling coils feels like our own private frequency, a low-grade happiness, thrumming through metal and skin alike. Every few minutes one of us laughs, just a soft, incredulous sound, because it's still astonishing that a single storm could reroute 3 years of careful orbit. Catalog this for future experiments, Asher murmurs, threading our fingers together. Variables, power outage, rainstorm, one tragically uncomfortable sofa. One hoodie, technically, I correct, brushing my thumb over the back of his hand. The sofa betrayed us. He tips his head back, chuckling. Poor old couch. Gave its vinyl life for science. Silence settles, but it's no longer loaded. It's spacious, drowsy. I feel the steady rise of his chest and try to memorize the cadence. My mind, usually a tangle of problem sets and to-do lists, is blissfully blank except for this bright, pulsing certainty. We chose each other. So, he says at length, voice velvet with fatigue, next lab session. Do we hold hands over the breadboard? Might short-circuit the whole thing, I snort. Professor Iqbal would revoke our grounding privileges. Then, softer, maybe we keep the PDA to a minimum until we figure out how not to fry the equipment. Or our GPA. Reasonable? He kisses the crown of my head. But off campus, all bets are off. My cheeks warm. There's a Saturday art fair downtown, I offer, suddenly shy despite everything we've just done. We could calibrate our off-campus protocol there. His eyes widen with mock solemnity. Are you asking me on an actual date, Dr. Diagram? I nudge his ribs. Pre-doctorate, thank you. But yes, that's the hypothesis. Then I happily volunteer as test subject. He twists a lock of my hair around his finger, studying it like an unfamiliar waveform. We should also plan for other contingencies, such as roommates, parents, the fact that I talk in my sleep. He turns pink. Apparently. I recite resistor codes. I grin. Cute. I chew pen caps, remember? We'll cope. A beat. Think the friend group will freak out? They'll take bets on when it finally happened. I'm pretty sure Levi owes Tasha $20. The image makes me laugh so hard it echoes down the hallway. Somewhere a door slams. We instinctively quiet, sharing a conspiratorial grin. His thumb strokes lazy circles on my wrist, grounding me. Outside, the storm eases to a steady drizzle. The building creaks as though relaxing too. I tilt my face up to him. I still can't believe you traded a confession for my pen. He tugs the pen from behind his ear, holds it between us like a relic. Best bargain of my life. Careful, I tease, brushing my lips against his jaw. I might charge interest. Compound, I hope. He turns, capturing my mouth in a slow, exploratory kiss that tastes of relief and promise. When we part, our foreheads rest together. I feel his smile against my skin. We should try to sleep, I whisper. Security will unlock the doors soon, and I'd like to greet the dawn without panda eyes. He scoots until his back is against the wall and tugs me between his legs, wrapping the hoodie around us both. Wake-up call guaranteed, he says, pressing a light kiss to my temple. But if this is the first chapter, I don't mind a little exhaustion. I settle against his heartbeat, fingers tracing the stitch line of his t-shirt. The future flickers before me, shared lab benches cluttered with half-finished circuits, coffee runs that end in hand squeezes, long nights where whispers replace lecture notes. Challenges will come, grades, internships, miles that might stretch between, but for tonight, everything feels mercifully simple. Rain on glass, his arms around me, and the sweet shock of knowing the longing was never one-sided. When the lights come back, I murmur, eyes drifting closed, let's keep choosing forward. His answer is a soft, certain yes that hums through the metal behind us and lodges in my chest like a permanent voltage, lighting every dark corner with possibility. Sunlight finally fractures the storm clouds at a pale pink slant, spilling over the third-floor window like someone slowly raising a stage curtain. It reaches the lounge first, glinting off the cans trapped in the vending machine, then washes. Across us, two scruffy silhouettes still quilted inside a single hoodie. My phone buzzes. 5:42 a.m. I peel one eyelid open to see Asher's head tipped back against the wall. Hair a sleep-tousled halo, mouth parted in the softest snore. Something in my chest twists not the jittery ache of wanting, but a calmer swell that feels suspiciously like belonging. Footsteps tramp up the stairwell, campus security finishing their rounds. A key rattles the emergency exit at the far end of the hall. Metal on metal echoing through the silence we've woven overnight. Asher's lashes flutter. He blinks toward me, confusion melting to a slow smile the moment memory resurfaces. Morning. Dr. Diagram? His voice is gravel dipped in honey. Morning, human whiteboard. I sit up, joints protesting, and sweep damp strands from my eyes. He helps untangle us from the hoodie and, without thinking, brushes his thumb beneath my cheekbone, where mascara must have smudged. The touch is matter-of-fact yet reverent. I realize this is how ordinary will look for us. Tiny fixes, easy intimacy. The security guard pops his head in, startled at first, then amused. You two the last stragglers? Group study session went long, Asher says with immaculate deadpan, our fingers hidden behind my notebook laced together. The guard waves us toward the stairwell and leaves. Downstairs, generators rumble back to life. Fluorescent lights flicker awake. The hallway's harsh brightness should feel jarring after the hush of night, but Asher squeezes my hand and I find I'm anchored rather than exposed. We retrieve our scattered notes from the lab. He slips my pen into my front pocket with exaggerated ceremony. Payment rendered, he murmurs, not quite. I pull the pen out, click it once, and offer it back. New deal, joint custody. He laughs, pockets it, then digs out a battered post-it and sticks it to the pen's barrel. In block letters he writes, forward equals, M plus AT. He caps the pen, hands it to me. Our first inside joke turned artifact. We step outside into crisp, rain-washed air. Puddles quilt the quad, reflecting sunrise like shards of rose gold. Around us, the campus yawns, awake early joggers in neon windbreakers. A janitor sweeping wet leaves, the smell of brewing coffee drifting from the student center. Normal life, unchanged. Yet when Asher intertwines our hands fully this time, palm to palm where anyone can see, the world feels rewired. So, he says, swinging our arms in a slow arc that splashes a puddle, art fair at 10. We'll analyze brushstroke vectors and overpriced lattes. I wrinkle my nose. 9:30. Better light for observational data. There's a playful tilt in his brow that tells me he likes hearing me set terms for us. Deal. He stops. At the bike rack, unlocking his gear-greased Schwinn. Before mounting, he turns, expression suddenly earnest. Nora, I know equations can drift with external forces, grad school apps, summer internships. I'm not naive about the variables. But I want every future calculation to include you. The words hit me like warm current. I take a step closer, tugging the collar of his hoodie. Then consider me a constant in your system. We'll adjust coefficients, but the output stays the same. I lean in and press a quick kiss to the corner of his mouth, not the hungry, storm-fueled kind from last night, but a soft signature, as every day is brushing teeth. When I pull back, he's glowing. Text me when you get home, he says. Only. If you do the same. He salutes, rides off through the pale gold puddles, water fanning behind his tires. I watch until he's a speck between blooming magnolias, heart buoyant and terrifyingly light. Then I head the opposite direction, my sneakers squeaking. Clutching the pen that now carries both our names in a scribbled equation, the campus bell tolls 6. And a flock of starlings lifts from the physics roof-black notes against a choral sky. I know complications are cued just off-screen. Thesis deadlines. Parents' questions, maybe more thunderstorms that don't feel cinematic at all. But I also know we've built a circuit strong enough to carry current through them. Soldered last night with confession and sealed this morning with choice dot as I cross the lawn. The hoodie still draped over my shoulders and his warmth ghosting. My skin, I whisper the promise we agreed on, forward, together. The sunrise answers in blinding pink and I step into it grinning, already rehearsing the jokes we'll tell about the night everything changed, and finally, wonderfully, began.